Wednesday on 104.9 FM and ask her all your legal questions. Miss Ahluwalia owns and operates Ahluwalia Law Offices PC. She received her law degree in 1996 from Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, and also has a graduate degree in English Literature and Master of Philosophy in English Literature from the University of Punjab, Chandigarh in India. Ms. Ahluwalia is also a certified mediator and has served as an appointed mediator for Collin County Courts. In addition to regularly volunteering at legal aid clinics hosted by the Legal Aid of Northwest Texas, Ms. Ahluwalia serves as a legal advisor to Chadla, a non-profit organization working on issues related to domestic violence. She also spearheaded and participated in the inaugural annual legal aid clinic that was held to benefit the underprivileged South Asian community. Ms. Ahluwalia also served on the North American South Asian Bar Association's Executive Committee and is the founding president of the South Asian Bar Association of Dallas. Her speaking engagements have included being the speaker at the National South Asian Bar Association's annual conference, speaking at the conference held by the Texas chapter of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and a presenter to the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce activities. She has been featured in Texas Lawyer magazine for an article on law firm ethics. Ms. Ahluwalia speaks English, Hindi, Urdu, and Spanish. Her office handles cases involving immigration and naturalization law, family law, business law, contract law, and
Alright, it is time for Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia right now. If you have any questions related to immigration and naturalization or anything related to family law, corporate or civil matters, you can call right now at 972-235-5555. That's the number in the studio. For appointments to reach her directly, you can call them at 972-361-0606. That's the front desk manager at Ahluwalia Law Offices. With that, would like to welcome Pallavi on the air. A very good morning to you. How are you?
A wonderful morning to you.
Again, I think let's switch the mic. Yeah, let's do that very quickly. We don't want that kind of a voice when you have such a lovely one.
All right, this sounds better for sure.
So much.
Okay. Good morning, Neetu. Glad to be here, part of your morning show. A bit tardy, a bit beyond the promised 10:30 to 11. But I know that we have callers that have been calling and patiently waiting for some answers. And I'd love to take them on the air. So let's start. Don't have major updates here today. So I can, and if I think of someone that I think I want to announce, I will go through it before the show ends. But for now, let's just start taking some calls.
Let's do that. All right. Good morning to you. And your question to Pallavi today?
Can I talk to her off air?
You want to talk to her off air? In that case, you will probably have to reach her at her office, and her number is 972-361-0606. You can take an appointment and get in touch with her, all right? Thank you so much for your call. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air, and go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, this is regarding my employment. I'm currently with a consulting company with my EB2 priority date being 2012 and my I-140 approved. I have an employment offer from a company B, which is ready to employ me starting Jan 2016. So my question is, can I get a visa, can I get my H-1B extension also filed with the H-1B transfer from company B and get a 3-year extension based on my company's A's approved I-140?
Yes. Yes, so the reason that you would get that 3-year, so the transfer would be done to company B, but you would get a length of 3 years because you would be using the I-140, of course, under the AC-21 provisions. And they're not going to discriminate your decision based on whether you're with the company that did your, has your H-1B and did your I-140 or not. It is just that you're a beneficiary of an I-140 that is still open and not withdrawn or revoked or denied. All right?
Okay. And the 3-year extension would be from the time the H-1B was filed, or it's going to be from the time of my current H-1B expiry?
Yeah, no. So nobody would ever get a stay of more than 3 years on their H-1B total time. So even if you were to have had a validity up until 2017, you won't go up until 20. till 2020 with that. You would just still go from, so the way that this would be done would be for future employment, of course, as a transfer, right? So January 2016 plus 3 years, and that would take you to January 2019.
So is it more likely that I get a 3-year extension, or I can even get a 1-year or a 2-year extension also?
So now, is this employer a consulting company and has projects that are ongoing? Now that depends on, so then that depends on the end client support and what this company can show. So it is possible that you can get a shorter validity, and that is not based on the AC21, that's just based on whether there is work available that is bona fide for you or not.
And one more short question. Can my employer be already filed for my H-1 because they have promised me an employment in Jan 2016, but before that can they file my H-1B transfer, let's say in October or November, so that I can be sure that, I have a 3-year extension in my place before I join them?
Yeah, so like I said, you are eligible to file right now. You can file up to 180 days prior. Okay, the LCA lets you file 180 days prior to the job starting. So because of that, that files that time now is current. So as in, your employer can even do it right now in August for an January date without an issue.
And does it go the same way for the perm also? Like the ad posting and job advertisement, can it be done also before me joining the new company?
Yeah, truly, that depends on what the company wants to do and how they want to handle it. Yes, that part of process can be done, but if it is that company's policy and they authorize that or not is a different matter. For a company to start out a recruitment process for which they're not assured of the employee joining is a lot of commitment on their behalf, so that would definitely depend on the company.
Right.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
helpful. Thanks a lot, Pallavi. Thank you so much.
All the best to you.
Thank you so much. A friendly reminder to all of you, please keep your questions brief so that we can take the other callers who are waiting so patiently to ask their questions. Going to our next caller, on Asia Radio, you are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, ma'am. I am a citizen and I want to petition for my brother. He doesn't have his birth certificate, so what we did was we made an affidavit with a lawyer, and we wrote his name, my father's name and my mother's name, and that he was born on this date, and then we added 2 witnesses. Do you think that's appropriate
So for the lack
document?
for the lack of availability of birth certificate, you have to first get a certificate of non-availability, and that has to be done from the municipality that covers the city where he was born. Okay, so you'll have to seek something from a government authority that says that his birth certificate is not available. That's all that certificate is. It just is something on the letterhead of the government saying for this person there is no birth records that are available. Okay, once that's there,
And
then you can use the affidavit. But there will also be other proof that would be required. So any secondary evidence, that may be his high school records that has your father's name, and maybe your high school records that show your father's name as well. Now, in the worst case scenario, they may allow a DNA test, but I think when it comes to siblings, they don't rely on it because it's not that accurate. When it comes to parents, it is. So they may have, and your parents are still around, right? Are they where your brother is? Okay. So maybe they do have you all go through that to be able to determine that. If you were not to be able to prove to them that he is your brother. However, like I said, I think we have to look for that certificate of non-availability plus other supporting evidence that shows that he is your sibling and you have the same parent.
another problem with that is in his passport and all his documents, my father's name is Matthew, and in my documents it's Mathai. Like, it was changed whenever he was, registered in the school and all that issue.
Yeah, so
in this particular affidavit, we mentioned that my father's name is also Matthew, known as Matthew instead of Mathai. So will that be a more complicated issue then?
Yes, it would be, but what you would have to show is that when your father's name change happened, he must have done it legally, correct, in India?
Yes.
Okay. So then he has to go through
Well, my father's name is still Mathai, but only in my brother's documents, it's everywhere is mentioned Matthew.
Yeah, did not go through a name change, but he just had his name done that way, then just off in the I-130, you may just have to ask them to, that you're willing to go through DNA testing and all of that. So maybe an argument needs to be made for that. But I would say that so there was just a random name change for your dad just during that time. But
Yeah, like my dad's name never changed, but in his documents, the school just, I don't know why they changed it. It was a Catholic school, so I don't know why they changed it, and my parents never bothered with it, so it stayed in his record like that, and my record never changed. So, it's a long-standing issue.
all right, yeah, so, yeah, it's possible because the officer that's the first line that's looking at it is just looking at the last names and is not looking at anything beyond that. And these explanations to them don't. Sometimes there's been so much fraud in the past that they do not just find these credible.
Okay.
All the best.
Okay. So what would be the best option with the last name being different than my father being the same person?
I think it has to be an argument that has to be made in the I-130 that asks for DNA testing in addition to all the other proof and all the affidavits that can be made. But I think an attempt to correct is the document should have been made at some point, because if they don't see that made, then I don't think that so this will go through its series of RFEs and issues to be able to be resolved.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
thank you so much for your time, ma'am.
Thank you so much. All the best to you. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Actually, I got my H1 approved. My H1 is going to start on October 1st. But I'm planning to go to India in the month of September. Can I do that?
But when you come back in, so you're talking about a change of status?
I'm currently on OPT. I got my H1 approved, so it starts from October 1st.
Yeah. So which means that you got a change of status approved for October 1st. The only way that you'll be able to enter would be to come back with stamping.
Yes.
Right. So you'll go for H1 stamping and then return to the country.
Correct. Can I go in the month of September?
Absolutely. Yes. And it just depends on the consulate, how quickly will they process it, the H-1B visa. And that's what you just have to be aware of, because there are long queues around that time for people to enter. So, just take your appointments, just make sure all your paperwork is squared before you leave the country.
Yeah, what I've read online is as it starts on October 1st, I can go to stamping in the month of September, but I'll not be able to return to America anything before 10 days, which means September 21st. Is it true?
Correct. Right. Within a week or two of the job starting, they will not let you come into the H-1B or be in the country for the entire month of September with an H-1B that's starting out on the 1st of October. It won't be possible.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
Thank you. And I have one more concern.
Go ahead, please.
I have my OPT extension approved and my H1 also got approved. So, can I not use my entire OPT and then officially start my H1? Is it possible?
Yes, it's possible. It's up to you whether you're choosing one mode to work or the other. So an H-1B is a non-immigrant visa that's giving you work authorization. So is the OPT. And it's your call to make which one you're choosing.
Okay, so should I apply for H1 later again?
I'm sorry, why would you need to apply for an H1 if you're using it on 1st of October?
I have another concern also. I have my OPT also approved. So can I not use my OPT, and once the OPT is completed, I'll switch to H1? Is it possible? I'm asking.
Okay, no, so what your question is that can you continue to use your OPT, correct? And not use your H-1B just yet until the OPT is exhausted, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Given if you're doing that, then you'll have to amend the change of status that you have on the 1st of October to consular processing.
Okay.
Okay.
But it is still possible, right?
Correct. You can go the entire line. But if on October 1st you have not changed and not done an amendment and not gotten an approval for the H-1B as consular processing, you're going to automatically convert into H-1B on come 1st of October.
Okay, got you.
All right.
Thank you.
All the best.
All right, thank you so much. For the listeners tuning in just now, we have Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. To get in touch with her after the show, you can call their front desk manager at 972-361-0606. Once again, that is 972-361-0606. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, I have a quick question.
Go ahead, please.
Hello.
I got my green card in 2012. My wife applied as a dependent for me, and she got hers in 2013. My question was that will in 2017 can we apply together, or does she have to wait another year for the passport?
Yeah, see, her being your dependent at this point for her eligibility for naturalization does not matter. She has her own naturalization ability, and that is not related to you as a dependent unless you're a U.S. citizen. Okay, so let's just let me restate this. You have to establish your own, and if your period started out of residence started out in 2012, then yes, you will get to the end of the line at the 4-year 9-month period, with also taking into account other things as physical presence, continuous residence, good moral character, all of that will make you eligible for naturalization. Her path will be different, and it will start from 2013, and it would go forward the same with the same timeline of 4 years and 9 months for her to be eligible. It will not match up with you.
All right, thanks so much.
All the best.
Thank you so much, and thank you for actually keeping the question brief. We have exactly 4 minutes to go. So let's take as many calls as we can.
Yes, let's go ahead and start. Keep taking calls, and after the break, I'll stay on for another 15 minutes.
Wonderful,
And
wonderful.
I'll answer some more questions.
That's great. Thank you so much, Pallavi, for that. And going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I have a question. I apply my sister, my daddy. I just want to know how the kids come to with parents.
I'm sorry, what was the last part of your question, sir?
I applied for my sister. I want to know how all kids come to with parents.
Okay. How old should the kids be that will be allowed to come in through? They have to be under 21, sir.
Unmarried.
Yeah, so they have to be unmarried, under 21.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. 3 minutes to go before the break, but as Pallavi said, she will be with us for another good 15 minutes. So hang in there with your question while we take this next caller on air. Fun Asia Radio, you're live on the air. Quickly ask your question.
Hi, I have a quick question for Pallavi. I got my green card based on business marriage to American citizen this year, January 2016, for 10 years. And I know for naturalization I can apply after 2 years and 9 months, but my question is, next year, right after 1 year completion, if I put in here for 4 months, so will it increase the naturalization timing?
No, as long as, so there is only a reset to your physical presence requirements, and you would interrupt your continuous residence here if you stay outside the country for over 180 days. But if that's not to be the case, and that's only you're gone out for 4 months, you should be able to preserve your residence, and this would just be regarded as a visit. So in that whole other time, as in 2 year 9 months, you have not had any other stays abroad, correct? As in long stays?
Yeah, I mean, for this year, like January this year to next, I'm not going anywhere. So I just went for 1 month. So 11 months I was in the United States.
Okay.
Next year I'm planning to go for 4 months.
Yeah, I think that should not be a problem.
All right. Thank you so very much, ma'am.
All the best.
Thank you so much. And yes, Pallavi will stay with us a little longer to answer your questions. We have less than a minute left, so I don't think we should take any calls right now. Any word of advice for our listeners here?
Well, nothing much. I'm just so happy to see so many people that still have questions, and I'm so glad that I can stay for another 15 minutes so I can come back and resolve those. And I know that people that have some questions for us that are off the air, unless it's in the middle of the show and that's something that shows up. We are unable to do honor that because we have so many people that are waiting in line and they also have questions. So, Mitu, I look forward to being back after your break.
Sounds great. 972-235-5555. That's the number in the studio. Once again, if you want to get in touch with Pallavi after and beyond the show, you can call their front desk manager at 972-361-0606. So listening to Fun Asia Radio 104.9 FM, and yes, would like to welcome Pallavi back on air, and thank you so much, Pallavi, for staying a little longer for all those callers who are waiting so patiently to talk to you.
Of course, without further ado, I think we should start taking some calls, Mitu.
Let's do that. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask for your question. And thank you for waiting.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead and ask your question, please.
My question is regarding my eligibility for applying for citizenship. I want to know when I'm eligible because I left the country for more than a year.
Okay.
So does that, I got my green card in February 2011, right?
All right.
And I left that same year in March, a couple months later, for about a year, and I came back in April 2012.
Okay, you had no difficulty coming in?
I left for a year. When am I eligible to apply for my citizenship?
Yeah, so it would be from the time that you entered, you would go forward 4 years, 9 months. And then
4 years, 9 months after I entered back into the United States after a year, right?
Correct. So from April of what, 2012?
April 2012.
Going forward, 4 years, 9 months.
4 year, 9 months. And can I apply like 6 months before, 3 months before the 4 year, 9 months?
No.
4 year, 9 months and then I can apply?
Right. No, so the eligibility is 5 years from the time. Okay, but the 4 year, 9 months takes into account that they let you apply 90 days prior to that 5 years. So it is at the 4 year, 9 month mark that you become eligible to apply.
Okay, thank you so much.
All the best.
Thank you so much. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, I have a question with Pallavi ji.
Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Go ahead, please.
Actually, currently I am in my I-140 and then 485 application. It is pending a status, and I have work authorization with my pending 485 application.
Okay.
And I'm citizen of Nepal, and I would like to apply for temporary protected status. And is it okay to apply for work authorization to the temporary protected status?
Yeah, so the point is that you're still having to maintain your 485. So the TPS is not giving you anything more than the 485 would give you. Correct?
Okay.
So, I mean, yes, you can choose to apply. It is something that's to your benefit of the Nepalese citizens. However, we have to assess the why you need it, right? So the temporary...
Actually, suppose this 485 application, it will deny, my I-140, it will deny. In that condition to remain in a status, and so that I can work legally here. So,
yeah,
so I wanted to know whether it's okay to get the work authorization to the temporary protected status.
Yeah, so see, the temporary protected status, of course, again gives you some temporary protection and makes you ineligible for deportation if that were to be the case. And if you want to apply it as just a second option and leave it there, that's fine. You can do that. But you always have to assess to see why is it that that status is being offered, and it is basically offering an option to a lot of people that don't either have status or have status that does not allow them to work, right? So in your case, if you do want to apply it, go ahead, apply it. But the use, as long as your I-140 remains open and your 485 is pending, then you have similar authorizations that stem from the 485 that is pending for you. So, and the TPS does not convert into any green card or anything like that.
Yeah,
it is just, it's just some relief from people that do not have status currently and want to work. So you can assess what works best for you, and if you feel that there is some problem with your I-140 or with your pending 485, then go ahead and take advantage of that. Otherwise, I would say you may not need it right now.
Okay, so do you suggest me to apply for the work authorization also for the temporary protected status?
Yeah, well, I would just say that if you want to, of course you can apply. But my suggestion to you was, since you do have an open EAD, you may not need that. So you'll just get an honest answer from me. You won't get one that says you have to apply for every status possible. Because the TPS is not giving you any options for a green card. The I-140 is. Right? The I-140 and the 485 is. So it's important to focus on that and get your green card through that. However, if you feel that there is some jeopardy again, then you can apply for the registration, which is open for 6 months. That started on 24th of June and will go on to 21st of December. And that will give you an eligibility after you've registered to apply for an EAD even later. If you want to go ahead and register, go ahead, do that in these 180 days. But for the EAD, perhaps wait, because you would just be paying an extra amount out to the government for the same benefit that you already have, and they may not replicate your EAD.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, yes.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. 972-235-5555. Number in the studio. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please. Phanisha Radio, go ahead and ask your question. Can you hear us? I guess
We lost the caller.
I think so. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, Pallavi. The question is regarding green card. My employer has filed for my 140 and 485 simultaneously.
Okay.
And a week after filing that, I got a call for 485. So, a couple of questions. A, is that normal to get 485 approved before 140?
No, that would be a little unusual for the 485 to get approved prior to the I-140, unless you had another I-140 that was there and that got current by some means, and that's what's giving you the eligibility of the 485. Do you have another I-140 approval in your history?
No, never. It is. I'm on L1A, so they've applied for an EB1.
Okay, so multinational executive, so EB1C. Okay, and the 485, you've been called for what? An interview?
No, for the biometrics.
Yeah,
Which is
so
a week after they put in the application.
Okay. So let me just clarify that. So that's a very good question. So the biometrics is just follows the natural procession of your case. Okay, which means that it progresses from, it goes from the filing the receipt notice to the biometrics, right? And then it'll go through the EAD, and then it'll go through the AP and all of that. Now that does not mean a decision on the merits of your 485. That is just the natural progression. That is just the natural process. That's the next step in line.
I see.
Okay, and that do not speak towards any eligibility or any assessment of any eligibility. Those are just automatically, once the 485 is filed, you will go through biometrics.
I see. All right. Thank you for the clarification. Second question is it okay for me to change my address and state once the application's in progress? Is that okay?
Yes, so you have to do that by filing AR11s and file it for each one of the applicants.
I see. And that can be done online, isn't it?
Correct.
All right. The third question, Pallavi, is so what is the wait time now? Is that the current time for EB1 is that January 2015?
So for EB1, currently it is still for, and we're talking about India, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it is still current for India. It's not January.
All right. Lovely.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, so it is a current category. Yeah, it's so that particular category, and I have to just speak towards that and not pertaining to your question, but this is just a general thing. You have to be very careful when that EB1C is filed. That is an area of high audit and RFE. Okay, and what they're concerned about currently, and that's the focus of all L1As and all EB1Cs, is the role that you played abroad and the role that you're playing here. Okay, and if it is either managerial or executive, the documentation showing that
and that is not just employer support letters, but external documentation has to be in your file. So, and that's something that I'm speaking generally to everyone. All right?
I see. All right. Thank you so much.
All the best.
All right, thank you. Going to our next caller. 5 minutes to go, and yes, we want to take as many calls as possible. So please keep your questions brief. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Pallavi. I have a question. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I would like to apply for my brother who is back home in India.
Okay.
And the question is, as for the previous caller, I did listen what you had suggested for if you don't have a birth certificate, and I wanted to know if he's born in a place where a municipality is not in, like because he was born home.
Okay.
And so, what could be the reliability of not having a birth certificate in that case?
Yeah, so the point is that even if you were born at home, you had to register the birth in the municipality. Okay, that covered you. So if it was not in this village, then the township that, covered that particular village or, the district. So now, with all of that, the certificate of non-availability is not a birth certificate. That just says it's not there. Right? So a lot of people get confused by the legal term, a certificate of non-availability. But it is a simple statement that says there are no birth records that are available for that person. Right?
And that would be possible, and the government person would sign on that because of that reason, and they would not question as to like, okay, if you're born at home or stuff, they would not question
because
the
there was a
person who
requirement. Yeah, there's a requirement for that to have been registered within a year of the birth. So if those, and the government officials should know that. I do understand from a lot of experiences of our clients that people do go through a lot of hard time with the municipal officials who don't know what to write. This is just lack of their understanding what they have to write. But all you have to say, ask them. It's a simple question. Give your brother's name and say that, do you have birth records for him? And when the answer is no, you say, can you please write that you don't have them? And that's all. That's all that certificate is. It just should be stamped and on the letterhead of that government office.
So if he resides, like in this case, because my brother resides in Bombay, and he was born in Gujarat though, so it's fine that a municipality from that he has to be going to a municipality in Gujarat to get that signed, or in Bombay.
Right. So
because he's living in Bombay.
Right. So would the passport say that he was born in the place that was in Gujarat? Does his passport?
So, yes.
Okay. So then he has to go there.
He has to go to Gujarat. Okay. And another question I have, like, if I file for their green card, and they all had actually 10 years multiple visitor visa, and if they're traveling next year to come here, and if I file this year for their for the green card, will that create a conflict as well? Because they don't intend to stay here, because I know it takes at least 10 to 12 years by the time the green card comes in.
Sure.
But as they have the visitor visa in hand and they want to travel and visit me for a couple of months, will that create an issue when they're traveling?
No, that should not create an issue because this is again, everybody understands in the future, right? This is going to happen, though the petition just does indicate their immigrant intent. They're not going right now for stamping. It is possible that the office at the port of entry asks them about this application and say, yes, my sister's applied, but I understand that that's going to take a good 12, 13 years. So we're just entering, and we've entered and visited this country before if they have. And we intend to come here and go back.
And if they haven't, and if this is the first time, is there any possibility that they would reject and they would not let them be in the country because of that reason?
So the person at the port of entry, which is the CBP officer, does have a lot of authority, okay? And they do have the option to deny permission to enter the country and to find somebody inadmissible. But they have to make that judgment based on a very, very strong hunch of someone coming back here and not leaving, coming in here and not going back, right?
Okay.
So, and if, that's not their case, if they've had this stamp for how long now? The tenure?
They just received it this in a couple of months, like probably in March or April.
So
they just received the visitor visa.
Yeah, that's fine. They can come in and enter and all of that. It should not be. So that part should not be related to their judgment. I think the discretion on whether they match up the I-130 with the fact that they are entering the country and ask them questions is something
need from my side if I'm filing a green card? I know the certificate that you mentioned and some high school certificates from his side, which can show. But in this case, my dad is no longer in this world. So what else do I have to prove to back up this green card application?
Yeah, sorry about that, Dad, but you would also need your birth certificate.
Okay.
So, I think the Indian high school certificates show the dad's name on the as the parent, and then there should be also a marriage certificate between your parents, right? And you will submit that too. So basically, you're trying to show a connection to each other, and that would be through your parents.
And if they, like in this case, my father's and mother's, if they don't have a marriage certificate, because this is way in 1940, 48, 47, during, it's been a long
Right. So can mom also do an affidavit? Have mom do an affidavit.
Okay.
As a secondary proof of evidence. And then whatever else that you can find that has the parent's name that you can match up to your secondary proof.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking my call. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and that's all the time we have with you, Pallavi. Do you want to actually keep going, because we have so many callers calling in?
Yes, I think I can continue, me too, and I will stay on till the end of
That's great. That's wonderful. Really appreciate that. And let's go on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air, and you are that lucky one who is getting to hear from Pallavi. All right. Thank you so much for hanging on, and please ask your question. Fun Asia Radio, can you hear us?
We lost him.
Looks like we lost him. All right, going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You're live on the air, and once again, the number in the studio, 972-235-5555. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yes, Ms. Pallavi, it's a continuation of the previous question that you answered about birth certificate and all that. I had talked to you regarding my brother having in his documents my father's name, last name being different. I was just thinking, if I apply for visitor visa, what are his chances of getting that instead of petitioning?
Yeah, so the visitor visa is not your application. It's his application, and it's based on three things. The reason for the visit, his emotional connection to the country back home, and his financial position in the country back home. Those are the three things that they look at to make a discretionary decision about getting the visitor visa.
Okay. So the last name, and I will be also helping with my financial, that I can support him financially. Will that affect him in a bad way, or?
So if he has the ability to do so himself abroad, so then your help may not be needed, right?
Okay.
And that they're not looking at connections at that point. Anybody can be a sponsor on the I-134, which is the affidavit of support. However, if there is someone who's younger who's getting an affidavit of support, that does reduce their chances of coming into the country, because the capability or the listing of accounts, properties should be ample abroad for them to be able to give that visa. That's how it works, unfortunately, just with the visitor visa. All right?
Okay. Okay. So I can just invite him, give him an invitation letter or something, but that's it. Like, he can supply his financial stand in India and all his belongings, his job and his kids and all that.
Correct.
And that would be a better route to take.
Well, and that would only allow him to come into the country on a temporary basis, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
like a visitor visa, just come in and visit places and go.
right.
Yeah,
So,
and then I can apply for his green card later whenever I
sure.
do have all the records.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question. All right. 972-235-5555. That's the number in the studio. Do give us a call back. Fun Asia Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, I have one quick question. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I want to apply for my it also includes automatically her family. Is that right?
Yeah, so only at the first part, when you're doing the I-130, it would include her family once you put their information in. At the time that she has to go through the consular processing, then every family member goes separately, right? Based
Okay.
on the eligibility.
So if her son is already turning 21 during this time, is he also will be eligible, or he won't be eligible?
No, he would age out. He would not be eligible.
Can you repeat it again?
Yeah, he would age out. He would not be available. He would not be eligible. The visa will not be available to him if he ages out.
Okay. So the age is considered at the time when the application is approved, not when it is filed?
No, the age is correct. The age is considered at the time that the visa is available at the time of the interview. Okay, so, and which means it's not even 10 years, it's actually 13 years from now, currently. The visa bulletin is processing at December of 2002 for siblings. Okay, so it's really behind. It's about 13 years. And what they take out from the whole math at that point is the time that the I-130 was pending. So if the I-130 that you file is pending for about 3-4 years, they will deduct that from his age to determine what his age is. Okay, so say for example he becomes 25 and the application was pending for about 5 years, then they will get his age down to 20 and he may be eligible. So it's a math that's done at that point.
Okay.
Alright?
Alright, thank you so much for your call. We exactly have 2 minutes to go to wind up the show and the segment here. So let's quickly take this next caller on air, and a very, very quick question.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead and ask your quick question. Can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. A very quick question, please. We are winding up the show now.
Yes, no problem. Thanks for taking my call. The first question is, my mother-in-law is like 5 years completed the green card. She is 85 years old. Is she eligible to apply for the citizenship, or she has to wait some more years?
Yeah, so she is eligible for citizenship if she has had a green card for 5 years.
Okay, the second question is, for applying for OCI for my family, we all have American passport for my kids. The OCI card, is it necessary to be applied at Houston, or is it some other place?
You know, there have been camps that have been going on that the India Association here has supported, and I was at that camp this past Saturday, and it's a very efficient way to get this done, because I think the document list online is pretty onerous. Our firm does help with those documents, but there's a lot of conflict on what is required by the consulate and what Cox and King, which is the agency that deals with the OCI card, requires. So it's important to get all that filed together and just maybe be part of this camp, or then mail it out so that there are no issues and you get it approved quickly.
What camp is that? I didn't get that point. When is that camp?
Well, there was one that just happened this past weekend, and then you'll just have to...
I didn't go there.
Yeah. So maybe next time, just watch out for that. And if you're in a hurry, of course, you can mail it out too. You can mail it out to the Houston location, but you have to go through Cox and Kings, which is the agency that deals with OCRs.
All right, thank you so much. That's all the time we have today. Thank you, Pallavi, for being with us.
Thank